Good evening. There is a very popular evangelist named D.L. Moody. He's dead and gone now, born in the 1800s. But he was a writer and, like I said, a very popular evangelist. And some of his writings, he writes about an incident. He was in Chicago looking at some art. And he really was very fond of this one picture that he saw. The picture was called Rock of Ages. And it was this picture of a woman standing on this rock and the sea around her, and there's a cross on the rock. And she's just holding with two arms onto that cross while the waves of this sea is just whipping up. Later on in life, he saw another picture that really moved him and made him realize that this first picture wasn't nearly as impressive as he had given it credit for. The second picture was very similar, but it was of a man holding on to a cross on a rock with waves coming, but he only had one arm around the cross, and his other arm was reached out into the water trying to help somebody. If you think about that for us today, it is so interesting how we are very, as faithful Christians, we are very committed to being part of Christ's body and making sure that we stay a part of that, and our goal is to get to heaven. When I talk to teenagers, I tell them your number one job is to get to heaven. Your number two job when you're finding a spouse is to help her get to heaven, or he or she, and vice versa. And then also to help your children later in life to get to heaven. Those are your jobs. But we're so focused sometimes on us getting to heaven that we sometimes forget about, or not forget about, but we're just selfish. We become selfish. And we don't think as much as we should about trying to get others, trying to help others, lift others. There's a song, number 639 in our songbook, by Fanny Crosby, called Rescue the Perishing. Now actually, just for a moment, if you will, go ahead and open your songbook to that, number 639. I was going to lead the song, but rather than that, actually, I'm just going to read it and talk about it for a second. It says, "Rescue the perishing, care for the dying, snatch them in pity from sin and the grave, weep over the erring one, lift up the fallen, tell them of Jesus, the mighty to save." In the last verse here, rescue the perishing, duty demands it. Strength for thy labor the Lord will provide. Back to the narrow way, patiently win them. Tell the poor wanderer a Savior has died. So this is our duty. This is, and it says that here, duty demands it. But not only our duty, but this is what we should want to do. Tomorrow, our family is going to be driving to Springfield, Ohio to celebrate Christmas with Jenny's parents and all the family up there. And if traffic tomorrow is anything like it was today on Beachmont Avenue, I can tell you it's going to be pretty crowded. When I think about the traffic that's going to be there, I think of the road to heaven, and I wonder sometimes, is the road to heaven going to be full of traffic, or is it going to be a very lonely road? As we think about this, we think about what Paul wrote. He said, "I have become all things to all men, that I might by all means save some." In 2 Corinthians 5:20, he wrote, "We are ambassadors for Christ, as though God were pleading through us. We implore you on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God." Tonight, I would just like you to think about that. When I had read that about the picture, and then after reading this song, and you can ask my kids, this song, I've been singing this song the last hour or two because it's been in my head, and I love the song. But if you think a little deeper about it, as I've been trying to do the last couple of hours, I'd ask that you do the same. Think about the gravity of our duty to rescue the perishing, to lift up those who need to be lifted up, to talk to those who we have the opportunity to talk to, those who might have fallen away. Rather than looking on them as bad people, have pity on them and help them. Be kind. Let's be kind and considerate. Think of the crushing temptation that they might be under. And let's just have compassion and gentleness of spirit as we try to bring others back. We rescue the perishing, whether those are who have been saved or not. Let's all strive to rescue the perishing. If there's anything that we can do for you tonight, we ask that you come forward now as we stand and sing.